All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dax. This is Trash Talk, and I got a good one for y'all today, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about some free agency. Now, there are way too many free agents, of course, to get to everybody, but we're going to talk about some of your main ones. We're going to talk about some of the quarterbacks. There are some quarterbacks that may be on the move that aren't free agents, so we'll mention a little bit about that. But without further ado, go ahead and jump on into it so y'all know what it is. All right, so I'm just going to read off a couple of free agents. Actually, not a couple. I got more than a couple. But I'm going to read off some free agents here. We're going to talk about some. So Dak Prescott. We all know that Dak Prescott is a free agent. He can get talked to by other teams. It does look like Dallas is going to use the franchise tag on Dak. But Dak has the ability. I think Dak is still restricted. So if they use the franchise tag, then Dak, of course, will be a Dallas Cowboy. But I wasn't a fan of the franchise tag on Dak last year, specifically because of the reason that it happened this year. That it's a possibility that he can get injured, and then you're not going to want to pay him the amount of money that he's necessarily due because of an injury. But the thing is like he had the opportunity and he's done everything that he was supposed to do to get to that point anyway. He's taking you to the playoffs. Yeah, he didn't take you to the Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl, but to get to that point, to get to do the things that he's done, he's earned that paycheck, right? And Dallas, and him just couldn't come, to an agreement. So we got Von Miller, AJ Green, JJ Watt. We already know that JJ Watt's got some attention from Pittsburgh and Green Bay and Cleveland. And so, there's a bunch of teams that's out there on JJ Watt. And some of these guys that are veteran guys like JJ Watt, like, Patrick Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald, even though we know Larry Fitzgerald's probably going to end up back in Arizona if he decides to continue his career, because Larry is just a loyal guy. But I would like to see some of those guys, ring chase, go to a team that, is going to be definitely in the playoffs and a team that, has a chance of getting a ring. I'd love to see Larry Fitzgerald get a ring. I'd love to see J.J. Watt get a ring. You know what I mean? So, Von Miller, J.J. Watt, A.J. Green, Kawan Short, he's been getting some attention. You got Shaq Barrett. Now, with that Buccaneers defense and that Buccaneers team, the Buccaneers have a lot of weapons that are going to be on that free agency list. I really don't see Tampa Bay, unless they take pay cuts and they just want to keep the team together for real and they were actually being serious. I really don't see Tampa Bay being able to keep that team together. I really don't. And a guy like Shaq Barrett is going to break the bank, and he should. Patrick Peterson, Jadeveon Clowney, Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue is a guy who definitely going to the right team can get himself some good money, but at the same time, if he goes to a team that, hey, again, let's get in the ring chasing scenario. You may be able to get him for a pretty decent price. Yannick Ngakoue is a guy that I was hoping that the Falcons would have had a chance at last free agency. Larry Fitzgerald already said that. Levante David, Deshaun Jackson. Levante David's another one of those guys. Now, Levante David is a guy that Tampa Bay may be able to keep. I think that he does end up re-signing with Tampa Bay. If he doesn't, it's not really going to surprise me. I just don't think that Tampa Bay has the pockets that they think they have to be able to keep all these guys, especially after a Super Bowl, ring. Sammy Watkins, Richard Sherman, Kenyon Drake, and Ndamukong Suh. That's another guy. That's a Tampa Bay guy. And Ndamukong Suh, you can probably, I don't want to say guarantee, but you can probably see him going somewhere else. He's just at that point in his career. And Ndamukong Suh, unless he's willing to take less money, it's not the fact that he's going to get a blowout contract. But, Ndamukong Suh is one of those guys that, you still going to have to pay for him, even though he's not, going to be a 13, 14, $20 million guy. you still gonna have to pay for him. And do you want to give him that money, or do you want to try to throw that money that you're gonna give him at a guy like Shaq Barrett? So Mitch Trubisky, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston. Now these quarterbacks, Cam, of course, can go anywhere. Now, there's a possibility. A lot of people are ruling it out. There's a possibility that Cam can re-sign with the Patriots. Now, it's just not. It just doesn't look like it's gonna go that way. But Cam Newton can re-sign with the Patriots. A lot of people have been talking about the fact that Cam Newton could possibly re-sign a contract with Ron Rivera and rejoin him and do something up there with the Washington football team, who teased today that they were going to have a new name, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping that they would go with the Washington Red Tails. That's going to be pretty cool. But Jameis Winston, to me, I think Jameis Winston needs to go for it. Go for a team, dude. Get you a job. If New Orleans is not trying to let you start, what's the point of sitting there? You're going to get paid to be a backup? We already know that you could be a starting quarterback. We already know that you can produce in this league. Go get you a job. Go make your name better. You know what I mean? If they're going to continue to sit Jameis Winston behind Hill, I would leave if I was Jameis. But, So Jameis is another one of those guys. Mr. Trubisky is a guy that some offensive coordinators and some quarterback coaches feel like they can mold him to become, a really good quarterback. A lot of people still believe in Mitch Trubisky to be, a good quarterback, and to think that he can go to another level. I think it has a lot to do with that offense in Chicago, and that he was. A lot of people feel that he was kind of limited, and that he was able to shine in some moments, and then in some moments he wasn't necessarily able to shine. So it's going to be a good test to see kind of where Mitch Trubisky lands, and if he does land somewhere different than Chicago, then what is that scenario going to be? Is he going to start off as a second string guy and work back up to that number one spot? Or is he going to come in for somebody and just start right away? So that's another one. Richard Sherman, he's going to be one of those guys that he's starting to get to that point to where, Richard Sherman could be probably like a $10 million guy. And he may, of course, anything is possible in the NFL, and anything can happen in the NFL, and a lot of stuff does happen in the NFL. Richard Sherman could get him another big contract, but I see him being another $10, $11 million guy. You may be able to get him again to ring chase and see if you can get him for lower than 10. Richard Sherman's just one of those guys that he adds that veteran knowledge, and then if you got a team like Atlanta, I'm not saying that Richard Sherman should come to Atlanta. Falcons fans, calm down. But if you got a team like Atlanta, a Richard Sherman type guy to bring him into your defense will help those young guys that you have on your defense to be able to bring them up to speed, and bring them up to speed quick with a guy that's still successful in the league. Despite, coming off of a very bad injury not too long ago. Sammy Watkins is one of those guys that he could kind of land anywhere. I think that he'll take kind of a hometown discount and kind of stay in Kansas City. But Sammy Watkins is one of those guys, man. He can go to another team, somebody that needs receivers, New England, somebody that, but the thing is New England's not going to try to pay him no big bucks to be there, So it depends, it depends. Deshaun Jackson is one of those guys that I think somebody's going to be able to get Deshaun Jackson for fairly cheap and just add a little bit of extra to their offense, add a little bit of wrinkles, Deshaun Jackson, is still very, very fun to watch. I still think Deshaun Jackson's a good player. He battled injuries last year, but I think Deshaun Jackson is going to be somebody that is going to be able to bring another level to somebody's offense. Not necessarily saying that he's going to be a game changer or he's going to be a wide receiver 1 or maybe even a 2. But he'll definitely, be a tool that somebody will be able to use, in their offense to be able to, add an extra weapon. So Deshaun Jackson might be a guy that, you might be able to get for cheap. Patrick Peterson is a guy that, again, sort of kind of like that Richard Sherman type guy. You got a young defensive backfield, a guy that may ring chase. If he doesn't ring chase, he may get one of those roles where, he's just a veteran guy helping out some of these younger guys, of course, still playing the game that he loves. These guys are in, very tight windows. You know what I mean? This free agency is going to be very, very big. I'm going to try to make sure that I got you guys updated on just about everything that I know. But this free agency is going to be something to watch. And as of today, the teams can start to franchise tag players. So soon you'll start seeing this guy's hit with a franchise tag, and that guy's hit with a franchise tag. So the franchise tag will start to kind of make its way through. As for that, I mean that's just a piece. There are tons out there that I did not cover, and there's a lot of guys on here that are going to get signed. But the thing is when it comes to this quarterback situation, are the quarterbacks going to get signed before or after the draft? We all know, like last year, it took, the Patriots forever to sign Cam. They didn't draft a quarterback, and then after the draft, they decided to sign Cam. So, it's just kind of like, what's the moves that's going to happen? We got to see where's Trevor Lawrence going, where's Trey Lance going, where's Zach Wilson going, where's Justin Fields going, Mac Jones and Ellinger and all these. I mean, you got a whole bunch of quarterbacks that's coming out in this draft. So seeing whether they decide to start jumping on quarterbacks before or after the draft, that's going to be something to watch. So I think it's going to be really fun. This is going to be a really good free agency. So anyway, stay tuned. Y'all all know that I got you. I got your back. It's your boy Dax. Hit me up. Social media is going to be below the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.